Openplan offices, they're fantastic, aren't they, when things go well? But when you're on the phone making a Burke out of yourself, at least I find, it's less good. I want a small cave to hide in. I didn't say, hello, John, have I caught you at a convenient moment, even though I had a script. What I said was, hello, James, where have you caught yourself? I can assure you that is not the ideal opening line to a man you have never met before. Where have you caught yourself? And at my subsequent leaving drinks from that job, I had to give a speech. And there's about 40 colleagues that came to say goodbye, make sure I actually left. I had a great time there. I learnt lots, but I got better on the phone. But still, public speaking, you don't do much in headhunting. I mean, they're really senior people we were recruiting. There was no advertising. It was all below the radar. And it was just total panic. I forgot to breathe properly. I forgot to breathe out. And sooner or later, you will either hyperventilate or pass out. There's just those two variables. And I was just panting over a desk through sheer anxiety. I mean, it's extraordinary looking back. I remember it very amusing now. But at the time, May 2001, I thought, I've got to get better at this. So I joined a public speaking club, which is a bit like joining a gym, for communication, and ended up, as Hayley mentioned, in the semi-finals in the World Championships 10 years ago and 11 years ago, and then competing came out of retirement, if you like, and competed this year, and learned so much on that journey. Nervousness can only be an issue if you're worrying about, or one is worrying about oneself. And it's such a simple thing when you think about it, but of course your audience, your listeners, your clients, your customers, your colleagues, your team, they don't care, do they? I mean, you probably don't care how nervous I feel. And why would you? Unless it gets in the way of me being able to speak coherently. And the same is true, of course, for every audience, every listener you ever engage for the rest of your career. If indeed nervousness is something you have experienced, you might feel quite confident. But if you've experienced the nerve, call it adrenaline. We'll look at one or two practical things in a moment to add to this. But remember, the good news is they don't care. Just like you don't care right now. You probably care rather more about whether this is a worthwhile investment of 45 minutes. Right? And that there'll be some positive change as a result of this session, because that's how you'd gauge the effectiveness of this session, wouldn't you? You may love the session, you may hate the session, I hope you enjoy it. But if as a result of this session, even if you hated it, if 6 weeks from now you make a change, and maybe you pop a sugar lump in before you go and speak, or maybe you think, it's adrenaline, not nerves. Or maybe you just have some conversations before you go into that meeting, or whatever it is. Focus conversations to gain clarity, and it works for you. You'd probably say, do you know what, the guy was a weirdo. I loved the hacker. But this British guy, Harry Potter's dad comes on stage. The single most valuable lesson I've learned through the World Championships and then working now with well over 30,000 people on this stuff over the years is the really simple idea that it's all about the audience rather than about the speaker. And I bet you, if you have colleagues, friends of yours, who struggle with powerful public speaking in whatever environment, somewhere at the heart of it, especially if they're talking about feeling nervous, and their focus is either on themselves or they're worrying too much about the pattern, and not focusing enough on the audience. Such a simple thought. Tip for you is, okay, fine, mindset, all right, it's all about the audience, okay. So how to make that practical? Consider your use of the word you. Really simple, this, you can apply this straight away. And as you're listening, you'll notice there are a lot of yous in what I'm saying. Do you hear them? You heard that one, didn't you? And that one. Yes? You can have fun with this. Don't overdo it because you'll start to annoy people, but you see what I mean. 15 uses of the word you in the first 90 seconds. I never considered the power of pronouns. I and we are great. They have their place, but so does the word you. And if you think about it, if you use the word you, you'll start to reach into the most important thing, which is the thought process in your listener's mind. So you're in a much better position to connect with them. New theme, no repetition, no hesitation. The winner is the last lady or gentleman standing. Okay? Yeah? Okay. So any country in the world.
Poland. France. Istanbul.
Argentina.
Istanbul, I think, is a... Head over to the podium, round of applause. You have an important job to listen carefully. I've got a memory like a sieve. I caught that one. I hope you did too. Okay, so we did have someone. I saw someone. Africa. No. Okay.
Brazil.
Brazil.
Azerbaijan.
Argentina.
Germany.
No! Step to the side. Thank you very much, Claire. Okay, here we go.
Cuba.
Uruguay.
Italy.
Spain.
America.
France.
France, have we had? I think we have had France. Take a seat.
Wales.
Wales.
Ghana.
Saudi Arabia. Argentina.
Argentina we've had, I think. Okay. And then there were two.
Egypt.
Iraq.
Well,
Round of applause for both. What was that a test of? I put the microphone back. I'll just repeat if need be.
Controlling your nerves, emotions.
Controlling your nerves, emotions. Anything to add?
Focus.
Focus, nice.
Thinking on the spot.
Thinking on the spot, yeah. There's a lot going on there, actually, with that simple game, isn't there? I bet you can...
Listening others.
Oh, listening. Yeah, listening to others, yes. Or not, depending on your approach. French Micronesia, Tuvalu. So, I bet you can think of some other countries that weren't mentioned.
Of course.
Of course.
Right now, yeah.
Right now, yeah, exactly. Standing here on this comfy stage, yeah. And I'm sure it's true for you too. You can easily think of lots of countries that weren't mentioned. Did we have the UK? And we had Wales, I realised, but Ireland? Interesting, isn't it? Russia?
Yes.
Well, we did we? Okay, we did have Russia. I'm out, right. Okay, so given that you can all think of plenty of countries that weren't mentioned, and yet we had a winner, what does that suggest the one thing this is not a test of is? Knowledge. Yeah, general knowledge of countries. Absolutely. Do you need some knowledge? Of course. But it's not what determines your success. And the same is true, of course, for any spoken communication situation you find yourself in. Rather, it's so easy to think, oh, it's just about a test of knowledge, and it's not. It's about doing what each of you did very, very well, I thought, as well as other contestants too, accessing what's relevant in the moment. We've looked at a number of things in this session, in 45 minutes. I wonder what will stick. Maybe it's the word you, maybe it's the idea of mindset, maybe you will just tweak your feet. Not too much, I hope. Yeah? Maybe you'll move, perhaps. See it as adrenaline rather than nerves. Perhaps it's something that I didn't say, but just a little light bulb that's gone on. A real privilege to have the opportunity to spend some time with you here today. And I wish you a thoroughly enjoyable remainder of the day. What a lineup of speakers. But take something from this session and take something from each of the sessions, because if you take something, then this will have been a worthwhile investment of 45 minutes. Good luck and speak soon.